Nigga or nigger? There's a big difference.
Don't hate me for what I'm about to say.
In terms of being African Canadian.
You don't talk about First Nations.
The spirit of my people has always been one where we overcome obstacles.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Definitely a very, problematic word.
Offensive.
A word I don't use.
Terrible word.
Point of view.
Black folks can and should own that word. It still gives me a little wince.
Nigga.
Hurtful.
Nigger.
Not us.
Niggardliness.
I see, young white kids calling their black friends nigger and nobody flinches.
I've mostly heard it on TV and in passing, so it has a very different feeling for me.
It's basically saying that people are nothing.
If anybody would call me that, it'd be on.
It's a word. It's a word that we give entirely too much power.
I can tell you that the very first time that I was called the N-word was not by someone from the mainstream, but by someone from the Aboriginal community. And interestingly enough, at that young age, I was able to liken it to, well, this is how oppressed people behave. That indeed, he needs somebody to make him feel like he's better than, and who not for that person to be than me, because who else is on that totem pole? We carve totem poles too, but who else is on that totem pole? And so here's the young boy calling me the N-word, and here am I, because I was able to be so grounded in a historical understanding of what oppression looks like. Here I was able to say, yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
Oh, I hate that word. There's a saying that kids say when they're trying to figure out whose turn it is in a game. They say, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. When I was a kid, it was catch a nigger by the toe. And when I hear them start to say, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I have an actual physical reaction. Like I can feel myself tensing up, I can feel my stomach getting upset, because it takes me right back to when I was a kid and I would hear people say that. And I couldn't say anything about it, or I didn't say anything about it.
This is my first Halloween, and it was in the area, in Malvern actually, and we didn't have costumes, so we put on a hoodie and we were like hip-hop artists, right? And we went to this one house, and this white kid, white boy, he opened the door. He was around our age, and he looked back. Opened the door, he looked at us, and I was like, trick or treat, and waiting for what, this candy that's supposed to drop. And the kid turned around and said, Mom, there's some niggas at the door, right? And the mom came down face flush, and she came and gave the candies. And this is my first experience coming in interaction with this word, right? And coming in interaction with this word from someone outside the community. Again, in Jamaica, this wasn't a word that was used. And even though I knew the context of the word, just by history and whatever, there was this weird feeling that when he said it, I was processing, right? And then I went down the stairs and I started opening the candy and I put it in my mouth. And Kenny was pissed. Kenny took his candy and threw it on the road. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You're wasting good candy, And he's like, bro, how are you gonna eat a candy and it just called you a nigger, yo? And in the moment I stopped, and I felt like this guilt just wash over me. You know what I'm saying? And in that moment I felt like this traitor.